That back there is not real.
There was a group of reptilians there, and they stood around me in a circle.
Tradition tells us that the army of the Messiah is not to come from heaven, but is to rise in our
Truth seekers, all right, what's going on? And today is Monday, and we had a great weekend this past weekend, and we got a great conversation that we're going to get into, and I'm going to get right into our conversation so that we just dig right deep where we're going to go tonight, because we're going to go into a area about the reptilian agenda, but also who is maybe behind it, how does it tie into our everyday lives, and just to bring things up to speed, I should say, when it comes down to it. Once again, welcome to Truth versus Authority. I'm your host, Roderick Martin, and I'll just get this story started right off the bat. You were born onto what I would consider a battlefield that you were never told that it actually existed, and you were handed a map of the world. But the most important part of it is what the territory was left blank when you got this map, because they told you it was a playground, a school, a marketplace, but they never told you it was a hunting ground, and you or we are the prey when it comes down to it. Now you feel it, and I know you do, don't you? Because like in these quiet moments, we're talking about the cold, what I would say metallic hum beneath the noise of your life. All of us have it, a sense of wrongness sometimes, or the feeling that the game is rigged and the script was written millions of years ago, and you're just an actor reading the lines that you don't understand. We all talk about this, that it's just some script. But they told you that the serpent in the garden was a metaphor, a fairy tale. What if the serpent never left the garden? But what if it was just renovated, right? But the parliaments, the banks, the media conglomerates on top of this, what I call sacred ground. What if traded the apple for a television, for a smartphone, or for some type of syringe? And we're talking about a new offer, not just temptation, not just knowledge, but comfort, or for our security, even surrender when you start thinking about it. But you have to know you were born sovereign, a spark of the divine, a wrapped in flesh, that I could say. But from the moment you arrive, there has been a shadow that's been cast over you. And we're talking about an ancient, cold-blooded, calculating intelligence that sees your warmth, your empathy, your creative fire, not as a gift, but as a resource, as a food source. And they want you distracted. They want you divided. They want you afraid, because fearful, fragmented human is a manageable asset. And they do not want you to kind of look up and see the bars of the cage. They certainly don't want you to look down into the tunnels and the ancient caverns where the real landlords are on this planet reside. We say that all the time. So you can see the history that they taught you and me is a lie. The wars that they televise are really a distraction. The leaders that parade before you are what I consider some are puppets, and the real masters are not human when you start looking deep into this. And this is not a conspiracy theory, people. This is the conspiracy when you come down to it, the one that explains all the others. And waking up to it is only what I call a chance humanity has left. We have to see it. And so I want you to take a deep breath tonight, not outward, but inwards, because the age of the fairy tales is over. And I want you to know the war is real. And your stuff out here is a surface story. And for decades, there has been and is a deeper narrative that has specific or has been persisting, is woven through whispers. We're talking about all these whistleblowers that's coming forward now, the research of these and the families, the ruling families. And this narrative suggests that the true levels of power, like I said a while ago, is not humans, and they're not held by human hands. And if you go back to figures such as Dennis Brunel, if you ever heard of him, Stan Deyo, William Cooper, Val Valerian, all have alleged that there is a secret government operating in the shadows of the institutions that has been engaged in activities far beyond public's, our comprehension. And then according to their research, this is like what they call a covert exploration of our solar system, utilizing revolutionary technologies. And it's not the product of human ingenuity alone. We're not growing like that. But the core of this claim that they said has a startlingly, because it goes all the way back to ancient. It says that the inner core of the secret government has worked in what they call a hand and claw with a race of hominoid or centauriroid like reptilian beings. And then they say that the large arrangement that they have is kind of like a Faustian bargain on a planetary scale. It's like it's a trade-off. The reptilian race provide elites technology and, of course, in power exchange for influence over the mass of humanity. Now, this secret network that they're talking about is referred to as the cult of the serpent. And so I want you to kind of look that up, go, and look that up and just kind of see one of those things. So the advanced technology, that's included in all this stuff, we talk about anti-gravity generators, electromagnetic propulsion systems. It's said to be a combination of alien gifts and technology reverse engineered from recovered crash sites. Now, this is supposed to be a massive undertaking, and takes a lot of money. And they're financed not by official record, but through all of these trillions of dollars of siphons from these black budget operations, unknowingly to provided by the taxpayers. We are paying for it, of course. We've always paid for it, everything. But here's the deal. I want you to make sure we go here. At the heart of this entire worldview is a symbol that predates every known religion and empire out there. It's found carved into temples at ancient Babylon, hidden within the rites of the 33-degree Freemasonry, and also coiled around the very foundation of world mythology. It's the serpent. And, I've showed you books that we talk about, all these different books, the reptilians, and I would suggest that you start investing in some of those, because in the mainstream narrative, it's a creature of myth, a symbol of wisdom, temptation, or evil. But in a hidden narrative, the serpent is not a symbol. It's a signpost, a marker of allegiance, an identifier of the ruling bloodlines that, according to theory, is not entirely human. The cult of the serpent is not just a fringe conspiracy. We're talking proponents claim that it's the oldest, most powerful, and the most secretive religion on earth, hiding the terrible truth of who or what has been controlling humanity and destiny from the very beginning. All right, so we'll get into that more, and we'll go down this rabbit hole. And so I'll do another audio video check, put it in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me okay. And I will continue down this rabbit hole. I just don't want to be talking and find out y'all not even there, right? And be like, all right, okay, where we at? What we're going to do? So, so I'll look over here and just wait, since we got maybe a little delay or not, maybe. Y'all there? Anyone? Bueller? No one? Okay. All right. Audio is clear. All right. So cool. All right. So the thread that connects the world power structures to this hidden agenda is the symbol of the serpent. Okay. And it's not merely like a decoration or nothing. It's the foundational things. In fact, in this book, The Deadly Deception, former 33-degree Mason Jim Shaw, he exposed a blatant serpent worship secretly taking place within a Masonic house at the temple in Washington, D.C. This is what he said in his book. And this is not an isolated incident either, right? Now, according to researchers like Dr. John Coleman, go look him up. The modern Illuminati, he said, is direct descendants of ancient Babylonian usurper cult. Now, I talk about that all the time when the book is the 13 original bloodlines, right? And it's worth noting. And I'm seeing a lot of videos and stuff that's coming up on social media of, vampirism and, all of this, blood stuff and everything else. And it always goes back to the ancient myth, but it comes from the reptilian stuff. Because this serpent is not a simple snake of biology. Its ancient Hebrew history describes the primordial temper that I think it's called the Nakash, not as the legless reptile, but as an intelligent, cunning, bipedal being that stood upright. And that the original Hebrew word itself, I think is like reptile enchantment, right? Or hissing whisper. And this is an image of a humanoid reptilian when you start going back looking at this stuff, okay? So just think about it. And this pattern echoes across cultures. We're talking Hindu legends. They speak of Nagas, a race of intelligent serpent beings who reside in a vast 7-level subterranean netherworld. The Aboriginal legends describes ancient wars with serpent beings that was around the rock, Ayers Rock. If you go back and look at that, Chinese traditions confer with the head and tail, the feet of diverse dragons which live under our earth. Where that come from, right? So these myths are consistent. An ancient, intelligent reptilian race once was on the surface, but was driven into a subterranean realm. And from there, they continued their secret war against humanity. And so the physical locations are tied to these legends, right? Because the ancient temple of Mitla, that was in Mexico, priests discovered a subterranean passage filled with slithering serpents and eerie winds, sealing it off in terror, believing it had been the entrance to Hades itself. People, this stuff is real. It's really happening out there, right? And more disturbing are the modern encounters. And there's a story I remember in 1944. Remember, if I remember, it was a story that was a mining disaster near Dixonville, Pennsylvania. And that story revealed something very, very terrifying, according to the son of the mining inspector who investigated the incidents. And how he said it was, according to him, the miners had broke into this ancient tunnel of unknown origin in this mine back in 1944. And they said that the bodies they recovered were not merely crushed. They were covered in vicious claw-like markings. Then something happened. 2 inspectors who followed the tunnel down where the temporarily trapped people were, by this cavern, one of them said he felt like a hot breath on his neck, and he was too terrified to look. I mean, I don't know. I probably would have done the same thing. You'd be like, what the heck? Somebody, on your neck, you'd be like, what? And then the other one said he saw a creature that had been with them in the dark. And his exclamation was that the thing was not of this world. He said, "What is not of this world? That's just wasn't gonna And so these stories are real. And you got to remember, it's time for us to trust the witnesses, right? We got to begin to trust the witnesses, because all this other stuff, they're just kind of covering up all day long on this, okay? And this guy was talking about, claw marks, Freddy Krueger type stuff, hot breath, things not of this world. And when I started connecting these accounts, I'm like, man, this is a strange world. I tell y'all that all the time. And this isn't just about, snakes and dragons as symbols no more. We're talking about a physical reality, biological entities, I just saw another thing on Instagram. It was a police report where a guy was driving down the highway, and they was interviewing the police officer, and he said what he heard was so terrifying, and they played the 911 call. The guy said he saw somebody, like maybe a person standing on the road drenched in blood. And then the guy started screaming, "It's jumped in my truck. It's in the back of my truck." And he's like, this is not human. This is not from this world. And this wasn't the acting. This dude, even the police was like, it was terrifying. And the guy was like, man, whatever it was. And then he was out on this highway. And when he hit the brakes, the thing fell forward because he said kept trying to scratch to get into his car his truck while he was driving. And he had turned on the bed light so he can see it through the window. And he was like, this ain't human. And stories like this surface all the time. You know what I'm saying? When we start thinking back about a lot of this stuff that's happening. And again, we're talking about physical reality, biological entities. We're talking about a reptilian race. And when you look at the research, they practically give you a field guide. Paleontologists describe Pacific dinosaurs, what they call that thing, the Stegosaurus or whatever on Jurassic Park. It's supposed to have been a bipedal hominoid, 3 to 4 feet tall. Remember, it had the big old head, right, with the 3-digit claws. You remember it was on Jurassic Park. Particularly, it had a opposing thumb. It had that big old cranial thing in the front, the big head, right, twice as big as human beings. And the official story is that became extinct. But the lore, the encounters, the evidence all suggest that it didn't die out, that it just, moved underground. That's all it did. You know what I'm saying? And they are the masters behind the beings that we now call the Greys. According to insiders like John Lear, the Greys are the servant race. And the real power that they answer to is the predatory, non-terrestrial reptilian species. Now, this is the creatures making the treaties, demanding human genetics, giving technology to our shadow government in exchange for control. This is the reptilian agenda. And man, oh man, it gets pretty interesting when you think about it, right? Psychologically, the persistent image of reptilian invader represent the core archetype from the collective unconscious, which is, I'm gonna go there. We're talking about the shadow. It's the personification of everything human refuses to acknowledge about itself. It's the cold-blooded predatory instincts. It's this territorial aggression. It's the capacity of absolute evil without emotion. See, the reptilian is the ultimate other predator in the dark of the mirrors that the predator lurking within the human heart, right? We talk about the reptilian brain that we're supposed to have. The secret pact that this alien race is symbolic depiction of a corrupt bargain of our world leaders that have made not with an external demon, but with a disowned reptilian part of the human psychic itself. And they have chosen to project our own darkness outward, giving it a face and a name, and doing it so have invited that very darkness to rule over them. So people kind of say that it is ourselves. However, it is a reality. It's a biological walking whatever, and we all know this, right? We should know it by now. Now, the image of a unified, malevolent reptilian empire waging war on unsuspecting humanity is a simple, powerful narrative, right? It's been out there for quite some time. But the evidence, even from within these fringe accounts, present a far more complex, contradictory reality when you start thinking about it, right? It's the story not one of a single enemy, but of a cosmic teaming with faction alliances and ancient schisms. It's like it's a whole network. And we talked about that last week when I said about the archons. It's a whole network. And the same body of research identifies malevolent reptilian race also speaks of other groups. And I know if it'll tick some people off, but they're talking about accounts of Nordics, yeah, human-like beings who reportedly developed advanced technology on their own initiative, separate from any other reptilian race, that are claims of a vast subterranean network beneath California, whose capital city is called Telos, right? Telos, right? And it's said to be inhabited by over 1 million semi-reptilian humans with ancestral ties to the Mayans. In fact, in this book, this is a Jordan Maxwell book, Reptilians. He goes right into, on the first few chapters, that there was some guy who had some kind of subsonic type of whatever it was, like he can, they hit like what they call a seismic activity. They can kind of find some stuff. But in this particular book, this guy found, they call it the lost city of race under Los Angeles. And according to the legend, I'm gonna read right here, in radio surveys, an underground city laid out in the shape of a lizard with its tail under the main library at 5th and Hope. In the summer of fall of 1933, a Los Angeles mining engineer named G. Warren Sheffett was surveying the LA area with deposits. He was looking for ore, gold, and other valuable materials. And he was using this new device, which he had invented. And he had designed it and built a radio-directed device, which he claimed to be able to locate gold and other precious resources at depths. He believed that the radio device worked on with newly discovered principle involving electrical similarities of matter and had the same chemical, physical, and vibrational character. His device, all right, appeared consistent of a large pendulum-like thing, you can Google, and it was suspended in a cylindrical glass case, which was housed in a black box with compasses all over. This pendulum would trace a line directly from a piece of broken from a vein and lead investigators to the person who had donated whatever. So, all right. So although he will not tell exactly what was in the box, but he believed that tuning it to an individual frequency, okay, an individual frequency or a particular, or a particular material. Somebody said they like my hat. Thank you, Lillian. And speaking of Lillian, you weren't even there this weekend. We had a beautiful turnout this past weekend. And we went deep. And I talked for like 2 or 3 hours, and other people talked, and you didn't come this weekend to the meetup. Anyway, he could locate similar matter. He believed that the gravitational factor. So I'm going to turn a page and see if I can put a picture on here. I don't know if I can, but anyway, they found this map. You might be able to see it on the screen. This is under Los Angeles right now, and they sealed this fucking thing up. They sealed it up, people. They was like, no. And they said the county originally only allowed them to dig up the depths of 50 feet, fear of cave-ins. But on March 27, 1933, they requested additional time and depths, and believing that the labor of tunnels was at least 1,900 feet long, with rooms containing 9,000 feet would contain valuable gold. This is what they thought. And they said the lizard people of Los Angeles supposedly survived a meteor shower, but were killed by natural gas leaking into it. So, all right, let's go back to the top. So the subterranean complex, according to Jordan Maxwell's book, said that the subterranean complex had discovered that there was used for emergency was designed to accommodate 5,000 people or less. Food supplies and perishable herbs were stored in sufficient quantities, which would enable survivors to live underground till it was safe to come back up to the surface. During the research, he met a Hopi Indian And remember, we talked about those. The Indians talked about the ant people, all that stuff. So the Hoping Indian named Chief Little Green Leaf. That's his name. So we know who it is. Go look. Let's find this dude. Well, he's probably gone now. But anyway, he probably got some ancestors and kids, descendants. He told about a legend of an ancient race of lizard people. This is what Chief Little Green Leaf said. All right. The legend said that about 4,000, 5,000 years ago, long time ago, that an enormous meteor shower fell onto the western coast, covering up about hundreds of miles. It was called the Winslow Crater in northern Arizona. It was one of the pieces that fell from the sky at the time. He said thousands of people were unalived and their crops wiped out, dwellings destroyed, forests and set fire. The surviving members of the Medicine Lodge, and which remained on the West Coast, met to make plans for constructing a safe area. The sentinels of the sky gave them warnings that it was time to enter the shelters and seal the shaft below. And then they was forced to go underground to save themselves from the gigantic meteor shower, which devastated most of the West Coast in the United States. Lizard people of the United States of Los Angeles, they survived the meteor shower, the lizard people, according to this book. But they were unalived by natural gas leaking into the bunkers. And Shelford feel that they have built 13 such underground facilities in a different areas such as Purpose, and one was located in the eastern section of Arizona in a small town called Springerville. Man, they're saying, and I'm going to put this down so I can continue, but, it was a lot. And I can go, it's a lot more information on that. Nicola, yeah, you might want to look it back up. I mean, it's a lot. I got the maps. So they saying, here's another map of it. And the way it's designed, y'all see the little lizard. So they said it was the whole tunnel system was looking like a lizard, like lizard people saying, we're going to build us a lizard tunnel. How ironic is that, or whatever you want to call it? But anyway, he said that there was a room located under the second part of Broadway, and the legend state that the key room is the directory of the rest of the city, and tablets were believed to contain records of original human race and the history. And I'm just going to stop right there because I can keep going. But anyway, the Telos, like I said earlier, was said to be inhabited by over 1 million. That's a lot of people. Semi-reptilian humans. Semi is the word. Would that be hybrids? Would that be part? We can go all the way back to ancient biblical texts. We can go back to archons. We can go back to the giants, or we can go back to all of this stuff. Man, this stuff keeps coming out. The book itself, you can, it's on Amazon. It's by Jordan Maxwell. It's called The Reptilian. It's a big book. Are They Among Us? It's really good. Of course, we know Jordan is not with us anymore. So that's the book, Nicole. Yeah, and really good book. Big reading, big words. But anyway, the Telosians are alleged, or they're aware of the world, supposedly, and monitoring it, and consistently, but remain reclusive and neutral power in the subterranean world. We are being watched by the watchers. Furthermore, there is evidence of conflict among the groups. Okay, Buddhist lore, as cited by researcher Robert Dickoff, he tells of an ancient Asian prince who led an army into the caverns below the Central Asia to drive out malevolent race of lizard people. Everybody's talking about it all over the world. California, United States, everybody's dealing with lizard people. And I believe that although and we talked about this past weekend, this past Saturday, and we had a good turnout. I mean, man, it was beautiful. All right. We had a great turnout. And I believe, like I said this weekend, that although there's a bunch of species, that visit us or here living among us. It is the reptilian race of all of this is the culprits of everything else, and it's kind of one of those things. And they've been here. What David Icke, the Zulu shaman, Mutwa Credo. You know, he talked about it. He specifically the Chicharari or whatever he calls them, Chichari or whatever. He told the whole stories. And the only reason I was pursuing, and I was going really deep into reptilian. I was just telling Chicago Red this morning, me and him was talking. Y'all met him at the event. And I said, everything kept leading back to religion. And I'm like, you know, I know people want to talk about shapeshifters and reptilian beings and all that, right? Everything kept leading back to religion, though. And between religion and politics, that's the, you know, the crater of breaking up our community, right? However, anyway, back Central Asia, the prince, he led an army to drive out malevolent. And I ain't say benevolent. I said malevolent. There's two sides, benevolent and malevolent, bad and good, or mean or whatever. But he said it was a race of lizard people manipulating the surface world through, listen to what I'm about to say next. These people were manipulating the surface world, which is where we are. How do you think they was doing it back then? It wasn't technology, maybe some. Who can guess how they was manipulating the world? I want to see it in the chat. Who's with me? Who can guess how these lizard people who are manipulating the surface world where we live? So how do you think how they was doing it? How was they manipulating humanity? Yeah, let me know. Divine Feminine Goddess says she's here. Welcome. Mentally, okay, we'll go there. Why do you think they call the flight response? Okay, banking. He said banking. All right. Well, okay, we're going back though. All right, so, and this is going to tie into what you already know today. So the Asian thing said they was manipulating people through witchcraft. Now, don't that just sounds traditional today? And they suggest that the subterranean realm, Agatha, I talk about that, or Agatha, is not a reptilian stronghold, but a contested territory. And there's some accounts that suggest that the human empire, Agatha, has an alliance with a certain reptilian groups. So now you get to know that this is a lot of different places here, implying that not all reptilians are part of the same hostile agenda, which I think we should still go back to what we talked about in the beginning. We need to meet one, right? We talked about that a long time ago, that we need to meet one. You get what I'm saying, right? We have to do that. So yeah, we're talking spells. That's why I study word spells. You know, I studied this word magic, and we was talking about that past this weekend. Because I'll be honest with you, this is where the investigation almost kind of took me into a turn. It was so much simpler than it was just us versus them. It's a little bigger. Humanity versus reptilian monsters. But the deeper I dug, the more the lines blurred, right? A reptilian civil war? I'm like, huh? What? Benevolent reptilians living under Mount Shasta, I'm finding. So there's some good ones, good lizard people, bad lizard people, but yet they're not supposed to have this emotional connection. So how could they be good? Well, okay. And then the most disturbing part came to it. When I kept digging, all right, you got the benevolent reptilians, you got all of this. And then this is when everything hit. The human collaborators, people. The people that are doing the deed for them too, the agents of them. And this is when you start thinking about some of these top celebrities of the world, Okay. You know, one of the beautiful ones, if y'all know who I'm talking about. These people they're not the one. They're agents of these things. They are little small peons to the stuff that's behind them. Okay. And I found numerous accounts of abductees who describe seeing Nordics, blonde human working side by side with these crazy hostile grays and their reptilian masters. And all the people be talking about these people is part of the Galactic Federation and all that. No, come on now. They describe these humans as having childlike minds, lacking critical thought, exuding a superficial compassion as they help the reptilians perform their horrific genetic experience on captured people. And it wasn't a clean fight either. These humans are on their side. They sold us out, period. And that's been the ancient part of history anyway. So what are we really facing when you think about it? Is it an invasion, a civil war, or is it humanity? Just a pawn in a cosmic game of chess that we can't even begin to comprehend. See, the enemy isn't just at the gate. The enemy is among us, within us, allied with forces we thought we were on our side. And the simple truth, I was looking for dissolved into the abyss of some terrifying complexity. I'm like, oh, this has got to be a big old conspiracy. No, it's simple. It's very simple. It's very simple. And before we go deep, and before we get into the profound psychological truth of this, I'm going to give a shout out real quick, and I have to, if I can find my thing to do. As you know, we have sponsors for our meetups and everything. And let's give a shout out to Noble Metals. All right. There's a website link in the description of the video. And if you buy or do anything, support the show. We're talking, these people got monatomic gold. They have whatever it has with methane blue in it. I'm going to take a couple of drops later, but yeah. And they have nano silver. And just, go check them out. Go check their website out and but again, if you see anything that, fits your cup of tea, then it's going to support the show. All right. We're a community supported show. Another one of our sponsors is Fresh Mouth. And Fresh Mouth gave everybody at the event, everybody who came to the event got nano silver toothpaste. And with elderberry toothbrush, everybody got a free gift for coming. That's how deep we're growing this thing. So there is a website in the description, nanosilverhealth.com. Go to it, and it'll say, Truth versus Authority, as an affiliate to them, and that's who I use for my electric toothbrush, and then I have the hydrogen water bottle. They got one of the best hydrogen water bottles you can buy, so I use that. And so again, support those people because they support us. All right. Support those people because they support us. And make sure if you come to the next event, we might have some more samples for you. But everybody who showed up, we had a large, good crowd this weekend. One of the biggest we've had thus far. And everybody got a sample to take home in a bag of some good stuff. All right. And then, of course, who was on location with us is Phoenix Phire. Wonderful lady. She's, one of our sponsors too. And I got some of her good products. This bath salt, man, some great stuff. But you know what I'm all really into? Not just only the soaps. I have a charcoal soap that I used this weekend from her yesterday. Man, great. But what I'm really loving is the oil. And you know what this one says? Protection. This is protection oil. So check it out. Make sure that you go And her website is in the description of the video. Support them who support us. And now let's get back to where we are. The narrative, or I would say this particular narrative, reflects on a profound psychological truth, people. And if the reptilians is the archetype of the shadow, it is not a unified entity. See, the unconscious is a chaotic space of warring fractions. The existence of different reptilian groups, some hostile, some neutral, suggests that the shadow itself is a non-monolithic, but a spectrum of primal, untamed forces. This is why, I'm working on the program for us to identify shadows, not only within any and all things and all architects, but within the conspiracies itself, what they're attached to our politicians, to all of the worldviews, all of the past. I built a whole system for that. And it's about 2 months, we'll launch it. But these human collaborators, they represent the parts of our own ego. Yeah, that part. For the power of pleasure, and they choose to align with our darkest impulses, right? So the conflict is not just a simple war between good and evil, but it's an ecosystem of psychic forces where the alliances shift and the natural predator and prey is never truly fixed. We're talking about the battle for Earth is a reflection of the battle for the soul. I've said it how many times? And in that battle, the lines are never clearly drawn. There is no war rules. None. There's no war rules. They got this thing down packed, people, and they take it all the way down the river. Okay? Thank y'all. Y'all like my my luminous hat. Okay, cool. But you get what I'm saying, right? And for the longest time, I thought it was a physical war. For years I've said that. A battle for the resources, for the territory under Earth crust. But the complexity, then the contradictions, the sheer ancientness of it all, it forced me to see something else. Your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. It forced me to see something else. That this was never just about a race of reptilian beings. It's about a state of being, about a frequency. This is why, okay, so here's a mala. This is the newest one. This is jade. And I fell in love with this one. I have plenty of malas. And I was going to give away a mala at the event, from the tickets and just pull them. But our blessing of the malas, they came today, and this was one in particular. And I'm like, this will be the last one that I ever give away out of the malas that we have that we're going to, give to our audiences from time to time, because you need, your prayer breeze, your malas and all that. And I told the person, and I said, this is the last one that I would give away. And I mean my word. And it'll be the last one, right? You figure that one out. But this is a beautiful jade one. And it's got, little stuff right here. It is beautiful. And jade has always been my favorite. I wear jade crystals all the time, which I have one right here. I don't even never take this one off. I bathe in it, the thing. But this is beautiful. I just love it. And so those are the things. But anyway, we're talking about it's a state of being. It's a frequency. So we got to start protecting our frequencies. We're talking through sigils, protection sigils, coming up pretty soon in the Patreon. I'm going to do the first simple training to get your basic first sigil built for protection. People, you need it. You need it. And for what we offer for that Patreon for people that are helping us and all of that, it is nothing compared to what is happening in your world to support what we can do behind the scenes that we can't talk about on the outside. All right? All right. So it is time for you to be protected. It's time for you to understand the alchemy of all of this stuff and wear your protection. Because I know I wear mine and it works. And it shows me you'll see what's going on out here. And this time we're going to start teaching the basics of it. And then we're going to elevate teaching you business people how to put that in your business and create your branding to attract and send the right message unconsciously. The collective unconscious. But anyway, a consciousness that was set for humanity before it was ever built for our first city. This is why they after everything, the frequency. This isn't a war for the planet. It's a war for the definition of reality itself. And I'm saying it is time. It's really time. And you got to protect it. You got to protect this. And a lot of people is very rudimental about that. Oh, man, my mind. They have no clue that I'm not talking about with the mind part that you think that you can see. These people tap into the archetypes. They tap into the collective unconscious. It's way deep. We're talking consciousness, subconsciousness, and then we're talking way the collective unconscious. And the only way you access that, I don't give a damn who tell you whatever, it's only through symbols. Go figure that out. Go read it, and you will see what I'm talking about. Read Carl Jung stuff. This is why they play all different games, why they do all this symbolism on TV, and they hold their hands, they do all of this stuff, because they know we can't see it, or I recognize it, and those around us who are growing recognize it, but the average person don't recognize it. And it's tapping into their virtual collective unconscious, and the collective unconscious we all are tied into. So if one is almost vulnerable, a lot of people are vulnerable. It's like the chain of the weakest link. So we got to start compartmentalizing in protecting your section of this thing, because it's all one. All infinite one conscious awareness at some point. And these people are having a great time, doing that. And I'm just saying. So, this past weekend. So anyway, if you think about it, I have this in black on our website. Go to truthversusauthority.com. Support it. Look, beware the manipulation. Yeah. I have it in black on our website right now. You can order it, wear the stuff. People, you will be surprised when you wear this stuff. You're not only just representing, but there's going to be other people going to look and give you the nod. They know. And where most people think this is a fairy tale or some type of fictitious thing, you should know by now that we're in a strange world. High strangeness, I should say. We're in a strange world. And it's time for us to grow our support, because we discovered that, we can do more. We can talk about more. We can build bigger community events and share things in more details that we can't talk online. I don't care what nobody said. We can't say everything here. It is censored all the way. They just passed a rule of certain things that, over in that other country don't want to be talked about, and they made a deal with the social media people and going to pay them to censor the stuff, right? Our White House just put something that ain't never happened in place, that now they will approve the medias who's going to come to those events, so that they can control what we hear about them. And we're talking about constitutional rights. All right, I'm getting off the tangent there, but you get what I'm saying. So when you start talking about in ancient esoteric systems, I'm gonna get back on track. Every celestial body represents a cosmic principle, a divine influence. Remember, I said it's all connected. And the force that governs time, limitations, death, all right, densification of spirit into the matter is Saturn, all right? Saturn. You got to go symbolism now. We got to go symbolism. I know I've been pulling y'all for it, and I've been trying, and I've been losing night sleeps, and I talked to a lot of people who talk to me privately. No, I've been trying. How do I bring y'all from here to there, right? Because we can talk about it, but it's really the pinnacle of where we need to go as an audience or group. But I know it'll disconnect some of people that follow and do stop watching our stuff. And, sometimes the little, ad revenue of $20 from the ad revenue outweighs the truth in some cases, and I'm sorry, sometimes it does. It's like, all right, don't tell them, because they're going to block your ads, and now the lights go off anyway. It's like but now we got a new plan for that. Once we develop what we're doing over here, they can't stop us. Then we can turn off the monetization. When we turn off the monetization of this channel, then we can say whatever we want, because that's the control part is going almost whatever we want. Almost, right? But long as I keep the monetization on, then that's what controls some things y'all can hear on a little level. But if we get enough funding, the website supports, whatever, because people say, oh, you're always selling something. Whatever. Come on, you're buying stuff everywhere you go. And yet, we do it. And we just seen last week, they take somebody out, and then his better half is in place. And now the world is opening up. It's like what is happening? What is happening? And if you think they would do that on a public stage, it's nothing for them to say, okay, go over there and shut down that YouTube channel or that guy. And then everybody go find something else to watch, right? Yeah. Uneasy lies the head who wears the crown. But let me get back to it. I know, I'm venting. I'm venting because we got to get busy. We got to really get busy. And we got to develop something else. We got to change our whole show format. I have this new vision right now that what if we had a live show? I mean, we live. But what if we had a live show where the audience is sitting and, let's say y'all come out when we're doing a show, we got guests, whatever, and just like an Oprah show, we got people sitting out there watching and participating, and it's live. Wouldn't that be nice? On YouTube? A live show like that on YouTube. And we just have a camera, boom, 30 or 40 people coming into the show. You know what I'm saying? I saw that today. And I was talking to Judith, and I was like, yeah, we got to do something. But I closed my eyes, and I said, we can do it. It can be a live show. Well, anyway, yeah. So we'll do that. Damon says he's down. Cool. However, we're talking about the spirit matter is Saturn, okay? Said that. It's a geometric symbol. It's the black cube. You've seen it everywhere. You've seen it on top of the Tower of the T. You see it down in all of the places. You saw at 9/11 memorial sites, 2 black cubes now. People, we need to just start seeing what we're supposed to see, and then we got to know the reality. Now, here's what I want you to know. We can't stop it. No way we can stop it. I don't care what anybody says. They've been doing this stuff for memorable time. They got this stuff down. But what if we recognize it, twist it a little bit for our own good too? Because wherever the resources they're drawing from, using the power, how they say the wealth of the wicked. What if we learn to take the same forces and we build, Batman money, and they build Joker money? And now Batman got the tools that Joker got, because there are some other good forces out there. I know there is. There's people that watch over us too. But what if we do that? What if we learn those things? What if you learn the sigils and all of this stuff for your generational blessings in your family and all of that? I know I just took 3 detours, and I don't usually like to take but one. Because once you take one, you get so far off on the show. But anyway, it's a geometric cube. I'm talking about the black cube, the symbol of it. Symbolism again, representing boundaries and physical reality, the restricted forces of law and the inertia of the matter. See, the Gnostic lore, Saturn is the demurgic force, the architect of limitation, the ruler of the material prison. See, the reason why I'm saying this, they go into symbolism and they use the power of ancient symbolism, because that was way before voice and word. There were symbols. And the word was the word, okay, right? We know. But before that was symbolism. And I didn't go and form a trademark, the Symbolizer, as a hero for nothing. Yeah, I didn't do it for nothing. But if I don't do nothing with it, it's nothing. So the reptilian agenda is the ultimate expression of Satyrian principle. I said it. Their goal is not merely physical conquest, but the metaphysical lockdown. They are the agents of the black cube, seeking to crystallize human consciousness into a state of pure materialism, devoid of spirit, empathy, and creativity. They're after all of it. And it's working in some cases, by the way. You know how it works? Because they offer technically security. You know, I butchered the word. And order. But it's the price. The price, man, is our soul. The price is very high. They seek to build a prison for humanity and convince us that it's paradise. And we pay the price. And we're paying the price. And the price is we can't even support our own communities in some cases in debt. You know what I'm saying? And, we just have to do it. We have to do it. Thank, the universe that I have great people surrounding not just what I do, but what we all are doing together. And it's a handful, but boy, they have built a conscious brick that we can throw very hard at this thing. But imagine if we have more of that in our clan of doing, and we can do it. Because I'm going to be honest. There's things I have the fear of not telling you. And people who talk to me privately, I tell you all the time, and I share some of the stuff, because if I say it, it's just yank it down. They control it. They don't even have to do nothing. They got an AI that listens to everything we say right now. And I can say something I'm not supposed to say, and they will get a notice after the AI has did what they wanted it to do. And by the time I write a letter and say, hey, and can we appeal this decision? Then a human comes into play later. And then the human says, our AI was right. Not another human was wrong, but the AI, it supersedes you and me, and now it's policy. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? Yeah, we should have millions of views. We should have millions of subscribers. But the only reason we get new subscribers is because we slowly are in feeds. But if we have people sharing this channel, everybody who watches it, share the channel. We used to have 200 or 300 people in here. Okay, a little shift here, and how many of you would get things that I didn't even get to notice that you were live? So yeah, I better go more consistent and say, okay, on these days I'm here, so you'll know, because they're not sending out the notifications to you. And if you stumble upon a channel, then you subscribe, and if you watch it, it'll come in your feed. But other stuff, they supposed to serve the content, find you a new audience. They don't want us to have no bigger audience on this. And as long as we stay compliant, they'll at least let us be here. But think about it. The reptilian conscious, like I said, is pure Saturn. It's cold, calculating, and oh boy, it is patient. It is patient. It ain't in no rush. We're the only one playing by linear time. They don't play by the same time constraints that we do. It sees everything as a resource to be managed. That's why everything is not control anymore. It's obedience. We was talking about it at the Meetup this weekend, and one of the Chicago was talking about Dick Gregory was talking about, the glasses. Are you wearing the glasses? Or who wears the glasses? And that goes to that movie They Live, if y'all remember. You know, they talking about the movie. You know, that you walk around and you see messages. We don't see them, but the message says obey and all that. And then I cleverly got real clever, knowing that this exists, and start printing shirts with protection on it, and it says disobey. And you ought to see the emails I get. Why you want to be, somebody disobey? I'm trying to change the programming without getting in trouble. I have them right there, right in plain sight, protection. And then I got the rebellion of non-compliant. And then the secret message that they send everywhere that we can't see is saying be compliant, obey, and all this. Everything on my website, it says rebellion. So I took the protection stuff down and started putting the owl back in its place. And all right, sales went up just a little bit because the protection blue stuff. And if you program right, it's going to make you run away from it because it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's going to block that stuff, and they don't want you to do it. So I may have to I may just put them back up. All of the protection. We sold a few of them at the event. People they figured it out. Oh yeah, this is cool because I laid them out this time, right? But you got to be ready, man. And they're playing alchemy. They're playing in our subconscious, unconscious, not subconscious. They're going way deeper. And like I said, it sees everything as a resource. It's the Satyrian stuff. It operates on logic without love, instinct without spirit. This is the consciousness that builds bureaucracies that crush the freaking soul. It crushes the soul. It creates economic systems that's based on scarcity and fear. I'm sorry. And it's designed media, and we're seeing it now. You should by now know how the media work. By now, you should know. You should see it and can't unsee it. You should see how social media will feed you what they want you to know. It's no choice now. We think we're looking up stuff. If you don't know exactly, it's like our Freedom of Information Act. Oh, yeah, we have a Freedom of Information. It's called FOIA. You can get anything you want from our government. The key to it is, and the legality is, you got to be specifically knowing whatever you're looking for. You can't misspell it. You can't say, well, I think it's called Roderick. You got to know it is Roderick and his birthday, his social security number. You got to know exactly what you're looking for. And now how many people they know that don't know all of that? And so when you send them out, they go, oh, this person close, but deny it. Oh, man, they missed it. They said it wrong, but deny the claim. We're not going to give them information because they do it. And so now we operate it. So it's time to activate ourselves. So we got a lot of sections of people. We got people that's teaching you consciousness and maybe how to manifest your destiny. I'm sorry. I know we're under attack, and I choose to teach you symbolism to see it. I'm sorry. You can learn it all because you're capable of learning it all. But if you can't see, then you can't. There's a different story behind it. And people, listen to what's about to come out of my mouth right now. We're not just being ruled by reptilian beings. We're being terraformed into a state of mind, right? And who said it best? I keep this clip for us. I play it constantly. Who said it best? And what I just said. And I'm going to just say this guy right here.
You've heard about David Icke, probably. David Icke I brought here to America back in 1994. David Icke is famous for his talking about the reptilians and the reptilian presence in mankind. And this is true. He shows how inside the human brain, the two lobes of your brain, if you open the lobes up, there's a smaller brain inside, and scientists call that, doctors call that, the reptilian principle or something like that.
Now, he even goes deeper when I said that we're being terraformed into the state of mind And it goes like this.
Harmony. I think we're being set up for something very serious and very big by some very powerful secret societies that very well could have extraterrestrial or otherworld intelligence guiding it. All over the world, we have accepted the authority as truth rather than truth as the authority.
Now, did you just hear that? People all over the world accept the authority as truth instead of truth as authority. What is the name of the trademark show that you're watching right now? Truth versus authority. It's a rebellion. I might would lay it out to y'all now. It's trademark. Go look it up. United States government trademark, Roderick Martin, truth versus authority. That our show is trademark. The Symbolizer is trademark. Whenever you hear me say, you may not believe it. Nobody else can't say that. That is my phrase. This is your useless. It's in the process. It's trademark. High strangeness, clothing line, high strangeness is trademark. All of that is trademark because I knew as long as they try to weed it out, we can hack it, and now we can do what we do. So once again, like he said, and I'm gonna play it one more time, and then we're gonna keep going into the show because I want you to know how significant the Jordan Maxwell era has been on the person that you've been watching all this time, right? And when I made the name Truth versus Authority, I have never even seen that clip, but I used to try to meditate. I used to not meditate, but I wanted to conjure up his thoughts and stuff because I sit hours in my chair when I do my remote viewing stuff. And I was like, man, you just, and then all of a sudden I made this name, and then 6 months later, I would run across that clip. And ever since then, I was like, well, maybe I reached him. I just didn't know, right? I'll play it one more time.
Harmony. I think we're being set up for something very serious and very big by some very powerful secret societies that very well could have extraterrestrial or otherworld intelligence guiding it. All over the world, we have accepted the authority as truth rather than truth as the authority.
Now you have it. Now you have the inside of what I do and where we're going and what we got to do. Now you know that it's real, right? You ought to know right now they're turning the human race into a reflection of themselves. He just said it, the reptilian brain. And this agenda is written in the aversion of sacred symbols. It's written in symbols. All of it. And the one thing that people tend to not want to go down because it may be boring or not, symbolism. And they know you don't want to do that because it gets abstract. It takes the most simplest thing that is so simple, we don't see the complexity of it. We're talking about triangles, or just a simple triangle. We see it and like, But but many people don't know the in-depthness and the power of symbols and symbolism. That's why they use it. That's why they send coded messages right in our face on TV, this stuff, and they use all these different little symbolism and meanings. And when I started this channel called This Is Not a Thing, a few people watching the videos, it's a link in the description, but I try to go, all right, let me take some of the basic stuff. Like today, I put a new video up called "It's Not a Pen." It's very powerful. You got to check it out. It's not a pen. It's something more. That's right. Nicola, symbolism was the language before words. Everything was symbolism, and they know this, and it taps into your archetypes in collective unconscious. And the guy talks about that. He says it. Carl Jung. He says it. It's the collective unconscious. So you're talking about the upright pentagon representing the spirit's dominion over the four elements of matter, and it's inverted, becoming something else. You get what I'm saying? It's crazy, but it just moves. You know what I'm saying? Let me repeat it. The upright pentagon represents spirit's dominion over the four elements of matter. Everybody can access that. But when they invert that bad boy, all they do is take the same thing. It become a symbol of materialism, triumph over the divine spark, which is ours. The eye of providence, once a symbol of benevolent, divine omniscience is repurposed as the all-seeing eye of the surveillance state. And see, what people don't really understand, especially once again, these dummies who you ought to see the message. Oh, you got an owl, you dummy. I'm now going to say that. You can use the owl too, dummy. You know, I'm talking to that dummies. You know, you ought to see them. Go look at my comments. You got the owl. One dude like, oh, I see you put the owl in the tree. You trying to be slick. It was the logo on the screen, just so happened in the right corner, and it's got an owl head, right? And it's the dude wrote the comments. You trying to be sick. You don't put an owl in the tree. You think we don't see it? I had to go look to see what this dummy was talking about. An owl in a tree? Who did that? And when I looked, it's the blue luminous in the logo sitting there, because, you know, it's on the screen, you know, it's not a thing logo, and it's got an owl in it. And he said, I am trying to be slick. You gonna put an owl in a tree and we see it. You do? Well, dang, I was like, he was so serious that I had to go look. What is he talking about? I didn't do nothing like that. You know how, you know, your mind play tricks on you, like, Roderick, you put an owl in a tree and you didn't know it? I'm like, what? And when I looked, I was like, it's the logo. So I wrote on the comment, dude, it's the logo. It's the branding. What are you talking about? And he was like, we see what you're doing. Look what you're doing. You're trying to hide. You can't hide the owl. And then I get texts, oh, you're trying to use the owl. You Illuminati. No, I'm not. I know what everybody should know is that they can use the symbol and you can use the symbol. God gave them superpowers and gave us superpowers. If they want to go turn to the villains and we want to be the heroes, that you got the free will to use your superpowers for whatever you want. He gave it to you. So they decide to take the symbols, which are universal, you know, not erudition, it's not set to symbols are intentional, and they're all everyone's and everyone's. You get what I'm saying? And they do it. Right? So the eye of province now wants a symbol of benevolent divine omniscience and is repurposed to the all-seeing eye surveillance. They took the power of it and said, okay, we're going to change the intention for us. But you can still use it too. That's why we need to go through sigils. And we're going to do that in the Patreon. All right. And so if you don't know, you know, I know, you know, you got to come back in there. You know, it's deep. And, you know, and to be honest with you, we only got room like 20 some old people, you know, of the system that we do the things, because it's capped off. I don't have enough support to add on it to have hundreds of people in there. Not yet, but we will. But right now we don't. And there you go right there. Patreon.com, Truth versus Authority. Go check it out. It's $26. $26. That's 83 cents a day for protection. 83 cents a day so that you know what is happening out there that I can't say out here in some cases. And now we're going to be doing them at our live stuff. All right? We do. All right. So the reptilian influence work by hijacking sacred and bleeding it into meaning and leaving behind an empty material shell. It is the alchemy of spiritual death. That's exactly what they do, and that's what it is. So this is the true battle, people. It's not against flesh and blood and principality. Well, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go spiritual and preach. It's just not against flesh and blood alone. It's against principle of cosmic limitations. A force that want to several, or, you know, and several things that they want, but one is to sever your connection to the divine. That's how they've been doing it. This is why I was so intrigued with our sponsor when this protection order, because I'm all in protection. I got protection beads ever since I went into this UFO stuff, and then, of course, my experience, and now going deeper and deeper. Oh, it's past the UFO crap. All right. Stop worrying about disclosure and worry about what you can't see. And once you worry about it, not out of fear, because when you see it, you can just move away from it. You can just dodge it. Every time they throw it at you, you go, yeah, whatever. But now when it hits you and hit us, we be like, damn, man, I've been drained today. You think? Man, The energy just shifted in the room. You think it's loose that they're after, right? And to lock us into what I call a 5 sense reality. And that's what they're doing. They're severing our connection to the divine, and then they just want to keep us into this 5 sense reality, feel, touch, taste, whatever. They don't want you to get past that. And then to make us forget the infinite universe that exists within you. See, the reptilian is the ultimate gatekeeper, the final boss in the game of consciousness. So we got to prepare. And defeating him isn't about weapons of warfare. They're doing that game. See, they use all that stuff to keep our energy low and done. What's up, Keith? So they keep it gone. You get what I'm saying? It's about refusing to become it. And it's about choosing warmth over the sun, over the cold darkness of Saturn. So we want the warmth of the sun. I mean, we want it, not over it. The sun is on our team. Yeah. The sun is on our team, 100%. It really is. It's on our team, people. So what we have laid out is the vision of reality that I can say is so dark and it threatens to extinguish hope in the future. This is their greatest weapon. Their sheer scale of deception is designed to make you feel small, isolated, and powerless. But that feeling, I'm letting you know, is a final illusion. Because just like this past weekend in an event, people everywhere or in this planet, they're waking up in every country, every city. The whispers of turning the conversations to turning into a roar. You should have heard the conversations when we did our round. We got everybody in a group circle this past weekend, all the chairs, and we just went. It was beautiful. We are the great remembering. We are remembering that the systems of control are a cage, and that we are remembering that we hold the keys. See, we've been taught to wait for saviors, wait for the leaders, wait for the heroes to come and to rescue us. But that hero's journey does not begin with the arrival of a rescuer. It's not. It begins with the individual answers, that you're going to find within yourself. You're going to answer that call, but you got to protect yourself with protection, with knowledge, with all of those things. And we're the ones that we've been waiting for. Groups like this, our community, the Symbolizer, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the antibodies to the reptilian frequency. It was funny because about 2-3 months ago, I was going to make some reptilian, protection necklaces. Yeah, it was anything I could to make sure that we wake up, but it was going to be a fringe thing, right? People have been laughing at me. They're going to laugh at you. They're going to laugh at you if you want to sell some reptilian stuff, but it was just the connection of mind of how we need to connect the dots. So I need y'all support. If we're going to go where we're going to go, if it ain't, maybe supporting a store or whatever, then I need to share the videos. We got to share the channel. And then, it's a counter or whatever thought, so to speak, because if you share the channel, we get bigger, then the less things I will have to say, because they will then, limit the monetization from the sponsors. But if we get bigger, then it does access to other stuff. More people will join the Patreon. More people will do that. And the Patreon, they just activated a service about a week ago that, at least mine, they turned it on. I can go live in a Patreon. Just click a button throughout the day and just go live. So all the stuff I'm seeing on TV and all that, I'm gonna try to use Patreon as my buddy system too. It's like, hey man, I'm just go live. Y'all got to check this out. I'm watching this right now. Check it out. Boom, boom, boom. And we can just go live in there. And remember, there ain't nobody monitoring it. It's different. Yeah, you can go live on Instagram, but you ain't gonna say what you're gonna say. And that's when people say some stuff, but they got jobs, they got their whatever. This is my job. So again, we are the sparks of creative fire that can burn down the paper thin walls of this Satyrian prison. This awakening is not a theory. I am not making this up. It is a biological and spiritual imperative when we get down here. An immune system of Earth is finally kicking in. And that immune system is us, right? It's us. So what now is the question. Roderick, do we hunt shapeshifters? You remember I was going to do that. Remember, not do that, but I had a hotline. Y'all remember that, right? And it was $100 and some a month. And we would get a call or two. And I did get some good calls. But then when I started looking at everything, that was one of the second, third things I had to cut off. I was like, all right, you got to cut that off, Then 2 weeks ago, I just woke up and said, forget it. Just do something, do more. Stop cutting back, do more, and then to cover more. Don't cut back because it's working. Their plan is working. We're going to slowly strangle him in the financial world of, AdSense and all those things a little bit. And then that'll just shut him up because the tools that he's using to broadcast the stuff with cost him. And it really does. And I fell for it for a little while. Now I'm like, nah, I'm just going to figure it out. Because if y'all remember, I used to do these shows. I was on TV and if people knew me, I'm still, just to make a little ends meet, I'm up 4 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I would go out and I would drive Uber or Lyft just to make sure that I can put money into a camera so we can come on screen, or a tool or whatever. And that was a few years ago. We're a little better than that now. But I paid a price significantly, right? But I couldn't have done it without some of you people who are listening right now. I'm just telling you, I love you. I really do. I love you all. All right? So, once again, do we hunt shapeshifters, Roderick? Is that a question? And I would like to answer it, but I think I'd rather for someone else to answer that question that you probably trust. This person, because they're going to answer the question for you, you probably have given to these people. You probably have changed their lives. So since you changed their life, I'm going to let them answer the question, do we look for shapeshifters? So if you don't mind, my buddy will answer the question.
Hell no.
So she did. Hell no. Yeah, she's rich, billionaire, thanks to all of us. And, do we look for bases in the desert?
Hell no.
We're not doing that either. He's good to go. And when you ask me the question, when somebody said, well, Roderick, you're going to look for shapeshifter based on my financial situation today, I got to be like,
can you say that again? I'm sorry, what?
That's how I answer y'all. Can you say that again? But it all ends now. We ain't worried about that anymore. We're not worried about that. Because the final battlefield is not out there. It's within you, people. So the internal reptilian gains its power by activating the counterparts inside of you. That I would say. Right? And and the primal reptilian brain is the part of you that chooses fear over love, the part that reacts without thinking, the part that sees survival as zero-sum game of domination. It is your owner, or your owner to the what I call the inner shadow. We're going to be dealing a lot with that. And defeat the reptilians. Without it, you must first conquer the reptilian within, people. And every single day, you're presented with a choice. You can feed their system, or you can starve it. And we choose mindless consumption over consciousness creation. You feed them. When you choose division and judgment over empathy and understanding, you feed them. When you surrender your critical thought to the talking heads on the screen, you feed them. Or you can make another choice. You can choose to be sovereign being that you were born to be. You can turn off the freaking noise, go into silence. We've been practicing silence, right? You can reconnect with the earth. We've been doing that. You can create art. You can ask questions, right? Why not? Because you can break the programming that our parents taught each one of us that says, stop asking, just do what you told. Break the programming. This is the work. This is the great work I'm talking about. And it's the only war that matters. Every act of conscious, loving creation is a blow to their empire. Why do you think I constantly tell you I love you? Every act of conscious, loving creation is a blow. It blows the energy. You will feel it because I mean it. You will feel when I tell you and look into this camera, I love you. Because I know it's the counter system to the parasitic thing that they put around us. And sometimes, but I'll be honest with you, I don't hear back enough. I pour out, but there's times, and there's a few of you talk to me, but and it helps because y'all know the real deal. But when you're speaking to thousands, you're giving out more energy than you're taking in. And it gets tough. It gets tough. But I wouldn't trade it for the world because I love it. I love you. I love what I do. I continue to love it all. You get what I'm saying? I love it all, and I love you. And I'm say it again. I'm looking at you. I love you. And if nobody hasn't told you that over the weekend, then so come here on Monday. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it every show. I love you, right? And if I can hear it back from you, that'll be nice. But I feel it, right? And sometimes we're in relationships. Sometimes we are not alone. You may have somebody with you, but you're lonely, right? It's a difference. But here, as a community, as we're building, as it's a sacred place, as is where anybody can share the most hardest things that you're dealing with. We did it Saturday, and everybody felt it. They felt the love. Just talk. You can talk, right? You can talk. All right, good. I love all of you as well. Appreciate it. I'm getting some love back. I love you. I appreciate it because there are days I don't hear. I've gone days without hearing the words, but I've said it all the time, right? Yeah. My daughter will text it, but I don't hear it. You get what I'm saying? My daughter will text it. But anyway, they're showing you their agenda to control, to consume, to mechanize the human soul. And as I say, my ending is now you must remember yours. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my monologue for tonight. Tomorrow on Forbidden Knowledge, we'll do a similar show, but I'm going to go deeper. I got a lot of stuff we're going to go. I like to up the ante a little bit, so you're welcome to be there tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And if you do, go to our website, truthversusauthority.com. I wish I had a dollar store item there for you. We have Cash App where we do, like I say, we're a community-funded show. So I'll put that on the screen right there. So if you find any value tonight, just any value, whatever it is to you, you're welcome to do that. And I always respond. I respond with prayers and thank you and all those things. But I will tell you, I got a plan, and we need the resources for it. I got a plan that I guarantee you, it may look like one thing, but it is for all of us. We was telling the people at the thing, or, become a founding member of the Meetup so that I can count something. I can get a guest and people to come and teach us privately stuff, but at least I want to honor their hotel. I want to, pay for their flight. I got some very beautiful people that'll come down and talk to us in private because we creating that space where we can say things. And they will come on a Patreon too. But yeah, you got to honor these people. You know, you got to honor these people just as much as you honor Netflix, you honor Hulu, you honor Prime and whatever. It ain't nothing in this world that reciprocity. But what if we give you the keys to see the unseen over time? There ain't no money on the planet worth that. And then you teach your seeds that, and now you change a whole generation of things, because it's the same generation burdens that they put on us now. My dad didn't know. My grandfather didn't know. My great-grandfather didn't know. They didn't leave nothing behind. They didn't leave the storybook. And first, I equated to wealth. Why they didn't leave me $1 million? Now I wish they would have left me one of them hidden books that was written in the 1800s and passed it down family to generation and heirlooms of knowledge. That would have been more valuable than them leaving an insurance policy. But I'm not saying, I do say money is good. So if you can do that, you do that, of course. Generational wealth, it does come from people leaving. So do that. You get what I'm saying, right? Right? You know, money ain't everything. We know it's not. So, but I rate it right up there with oxygen. I rate it up there with oxygen. Ari say I love you. I've been a member for she's been a member for 15 months. Thank you. Thank you. And I will say something, because people who are a member of that YouTube, I don't put a lot of stuff there because it's just given. But YouTube gives us each month anything over $100. And if it wasn't for those people, like I said, I don't make money from this channel, people. I make, YouTube is not giving me, you got to have millions of views to pay some bills. And boy, does that make you want to say something different? Do I want to start talking about basket weaving and shit, and then be the best basket weaving storyteller you ever heard? You go make this basket is gonna, manifest your life. You know what I'm saying? Create it. But I choose to be a bearer of truth. I choose to go against the grain. I choose to talk about the unspoken. Oh, and speaking of that, God dang it. In any day now, I was informed my book is going to be live and shipping out. So right there is a link in the description. We need to make it a bestseller, The Unspeakable Truth. So any day now, it should be live. It could be tomorrow, it could be Wednesday, Friday, whatever, and it'll ship out. But we need to do a hard crush one day where it can be listed as a bestseller. All it needs is one good week of overall in a category, and then we have a bestseller. And that changes the game. Then, yeah, people will be like, okay, come out and speak. And then I can, you know what I'm saying? It ain't about, you still get more of what you're getting. We just make the system work. We make the system work. But there's a link in the description of the video, truthversusauthority.com. You can go and it'll take you to the book, and then the book will take you where to order. And I think it goes toward Amazon or something. But Forbidden Knowledge, Billy Carson wrote the foreword, and he's also the publisher. Their company is the publisher of the book. And so I'm very thankful of that. Judith says, Roderick, you're right. I don't tell you enough that you're appreciated. Much peace. Love you, my dear. Well, you know what? You do. You good. Judith is my friend, and I'm her friend. Now, she have a list of a lot of friends. Sean is like 10 to 15 times over everybody. That's her dog. And but I told Judith one time, listen, this is a true story. She'll tell you, she'll confirm it. I said, when I come back, if they gave me a choice between what experience, I just may come back as your next dog. She treat her dogs good. Very good. I told her, I said, I'll come back and be have an experience as your dog, because, you will love I've always wanted to use that line if I was in a relationship, baby, I'll come back. If I can come back again, I'll come back as your next man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that much good loving you get. But that dog, you know what I'm saying? He don't eat grass like my dog. Nope. He, top flight stuff, hotel stays, play days. This dog get play days. Like, I'm just gonna take you to go play. This dog wakes up and asks for a treat, and she get out of bed and give him a treat. Wee hours in the morning, he just go, roar. Y'all seen Lassie, right? Roar. Jimmy need a rope. Roar. Jimmy's down in a hole. Roar. Lassie, you want us to follow you? Roar. She got that kind of dog. That kind of dog. He'd be like, roar. She'd be like, oh, hi, Sean. Roar. Oh, it's cold outside. The temperature is 96 degrees. Roar. Okay, I'll get a jacket. We have those kind of conversations, right? I'll be tripping. I'll be on the phone like, what did he say? Because I'll be like, what did he say? Oh, he's not feeling well today. He said that? So she be going at it. How that dog, boy. They be at it. So, but anyway, yes, it's the book you wrote. I look forward to it. She said, Judith, the best way to love on your fur baby makes sense. Yeah, I mean, hey, he's more than a bestie. My dog is my dog. And so, but he's still my guy, but he's my dog. But her dog is not a dog. Ain't a dog. My dog got a dog name. All right. But anyway, so I'm just saying that, look, she talking about it's all true. I'm not lying. I ain't got to lie. Look, you'd be like, it'd be one thing if Judah popped up here and said some shit like,
now that's a damn lie.
She ain't saying that. What Judith is saying, look in the chat, like about this dog thing, she's saying like,
you damn right, wise ass.
That's her response. Okay. That's her response to all of it. Yeah, that's her response. So anyway, again, I love each and every one of you, because I had a lot of other stuff we could talk about, but we're an hour and some into the show, and we could let me turn on the and look. I don't even, if you notice, I don't have ad breaks of the thing in the, I'm turn on the ads now before I hang up so that, it'll now, once it goes live, after we hang up, it'll start showing ads to people, but I don't do it during the show. I don't want you distracted and then, but I have to cut it on right before we get off though. And pretty much do that, for that thing. So anyway, again, I love you. Love each and every one of you. We're going to be on Forbidden Knowledge tomorrow. I think I won't be here Wednesday. We'll be back Thursday. I would love, 10, 15 people join our Patreon. We used to have and so when we go live in there the other day, we went deep. We went hard on the back end of this 33 thing of the Charlie Kirk stuff. And then I did a little stuff on the triangle, I think. I know I did about a square training on the square. People learned a lot, how they can activate it, use it, more symbolism. We're going to go deeply from there. But the goal was the membership of the Patreon, at some point, I had a goal of this freedom thing, and I dropped the ball. Well, I dropped it. I know people like, man, you got to go back in there all the time, and I ain't going to give you 83 cents a day for nothing. And I realized that. And for those who were hung in there all this time and everything else, you are a great, and the ones who couldn't, you're still great too. But I promise you, I'm going to give you something you never seen before. We're going to hit this thing very hard. And so if you have not got on our text list for the Dallas meetups, you better get on there because we got a plan. Now if you ain't coming, don't get on there. And you don't plan on, because it'd be looking good like, oh, we got 3 more people on the list, and I'm thinking 3 more people. Now the list is growing. Then I'm start looking at the numbers, people from Maine and Wisconsin. And I'm like, okay, I love it, y'all on there, but they ain't coming. Because when I send out the text, are you going to be there? All them knows be like, no, I don't live there. I don't live near you. But that's okay. I still appreciate it though. But we had a great turnout. Great turnout. This past Saturday, and this is our third month into it. And then as we continue to get bigger and bigger, I was talking to Billy. He was like, yeah, I'll come down. Brother Joseph, yeah, I'll get up there. I got other people. Yeah, we'll come and surprise your group and we'll talk. And it's just beautiful as we continue to grow. And the dynamics of all of that. So Judith said the square knowledge was really good. Okay, appreciate it. So, all right. So other than that, it's cool. I was checking. Shoot, I don't even have to try to check the cash app. It just broke. It don't work. But that's all right. I'm working on a plan where soon, when the book stuff come out, all that other stuff, you won't hear me ask for contributions because hopefully things will be self-sufficient. And that's the goal. I really want that. It's not an ego thing. It's a man thing of me being self-sufficient of what we're doing and everything. But to have gotten here has been the aid of all you others. And so I am one of the luckiest men on the planet to have a community that we have. I know it. I tell people all the time. And I still get challenges of why would people even like you? Because I love them unconditionally. I really do. And that's just how it got to be. It's not a church thing or nothing. All right. So now go love someone else in your house. Call a friend, call someone up, just give them a little love. And let them know that your funding and Cash App is about to be lit. I sure will hope lit like, oh yeah, let me show you how it's going to be lit. When I touch the screen, it does light up. Is that what you're talking about? Like when I touch the screen, it lights up because it does light. Yeah. Yeah. But if you're talking about light, like, no, but like now, if I touch Cash App, it lights up, right? It lights up. That's what you're talking about. I mean, you're correct. Yeah, it's lighting up, and yeah, it light up. It don't say nothing, but it light up. Symbolism. The symbolism of Cash App is green with the dollar sign. The symbolism is cool, But yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, my friend. All right, so it's been a plum, pleasing pleasure, whether the privilege. I'm Roderick Martin. You have been listening to Truth versus Authority tonight. I appreciate it. You could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be right here, right now. With that being said, I hope I served you, and I will continue to be a servant leader and continue. I have made a decision more and more to kind of start going deeper, no matter what they say and do. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and it will go long. But anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow on Forbidden Knowledge. And then those of you, we're going to go deep and we're personal on the Patreon Thursday night. And then we'll do some other stuff. I'm going to try to do a daytime show on the days that I'm doing stuff at night somewhere else. And so I will end up doing that as well. Okay. All right. So good night, y'all.
UFOs,
UAPs,
unidentified anomalous phenomena.
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs.
A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Let's try.